Broadcasting live.
Listen live online 24/7.
24/7. Around the world.
Right here. Right now.
It's 300 Radio.
And you know this.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Scott Free Morning Show. I am your host himself, L. Scott. Let me see how many we got in the queue. 2,600 people already. Before we get started, hit the like button. If you're watching on, have you followed our channel on YouTube especially? YouTube gets the most traction for us, especially a lot of the clipped up videos that I do. So if you guys don't mind, if you could go over to YouTube, go over to 300 Radio and the number 1, no spaces, and put in that into your search box. It'll pull up the platform of 300 Radio, and then hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the comments, and let's keep it going. The reason why I said that, the reason why I want you guys to go over there and do that is because I'm starting to get a feel for what my audience wants. And basically, each platform that I post to, there's a different audience. Classic example of what I mean. There is a bunch of women that follow me on Instagram, and I kind of I'm going to start making content every day specifically for males and for females, and that way we can disperse it to both platforms and everybody gets what they want. Everybody wants a piece of your boy right about now. I'm joking. But on today's show, I'm definitely not going to hold you long. I have a jam-packed day, but I didn't come on yesterday, so I want to make sure you guys get a chance to see my face. Because I don't want to leave you for so long before we get back into it. But on today's episode, got a couple of different things. But before I even get started, I was on Twitter a little while ago, just looking at a couple of different things I may want to cover. And I saw a post from, who was it? Eddie Griffin, the renowned comedian Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin put up a piece, and he was talking about the Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not going to dive into this for so long, but I did have to address it because he made a really, really good point. The NFL is full of shit. The NFL lets you know exactly how they feel and think about all those players in their league. Look, you're just a commodity. But I'm going to go a different way than than Eddie Griffin went. Eddie wanted to talk about the NFL and their bullshit. Let's stop talking about that. We have gotten to a point in this world to where we know that we are under the gun. We know that they are attacking our group. How do you know that? Because it's on every front. I said this the other day. Where do we go from here? And I know why white supremacy is turning, and I said I won't keep using the word over and over and over again, but I know why it's winning. It's winning at this point now is because everybody knows it exists, but everyone is acting like it doesn't, and hell, it's a free fall for them now. Why do I say it like that? I want to make sure I say that concisely so you understand what I mean. When you get to a point to where we're just going to make it up, and even better, I say it better than that. This morning, while I was working out, I was watching a story about a judge, a white lady judge, who basically tried to help an illegal immigrant escape out of the courtroom. Now, you may have heard about this situation, you may not have. But this lady, basically, there was a guy who was illegal. He was up for domestic violence. He was going in front of the judge. He was I think they were talking about possibly deporting him. And then basically what they did is they had him she tried to sneak the dude out the back door, and it didn't work. She got arrested the whole 9. She's up for charges. My point is that when I was watching that piece today, do you know they didn't talk really about the judge? They was making excuses. They don't know. I heard reporters, other law people in law enforcement, people in the courthouse officials, just random people. They're interviewing people, and everybody's saying the same thing, that this is not her behavior normally. She must didn't know what was going on. Man, let that have been a black person. I give you even one better. I haven't heard anyone denigrate that lady yet. They have people standing out front of the courtroom talking about no justice, no peace. They're trying to boycott for the lady. And she was wrong. She was illegal. This man was up on charges, and she was trying to get him off. Where was the injustice here? See, one thing I need for black people to understand is you're the only moral people in this world when it comes to that type of thing. I've seen people, classic example. I saw this white guy the other day on Twitter. White teacher has been raping one of his students since, they said, the entire year. Now, I'm underneath this thread. I'm looking for outraged white people. And there's no outrageousness going on. They're not in the comment section. They don't seem to care. They're not stressed out about it. But that Carmelo Anthony case, they have been on this boy's back so bad to where they're sending death threats to his house. They had to move that young man. So is it you're upset about injustices, or are you just upset when a black person does something to a white person? Because that's what it seems like to me. And the reason why I brought up that judge the whole nine is because they're making excuses for her. At the very same time, they're taking Shador Sanders and telling you that he's cocky, that he needs to be humbled. And that leads me into what I want to discuss, and that's to talk about Chris Carter's black ass. If y'all don't know who Chris Carter is a former NFL wide receiver, one of the greatest of all times. I'm not going to take anything away from what this man did on the field. I'll give you an example. I was a Madden player, PlayStation, for years. And when he was playing, this was back in the day, but when he was playing, he was one of my go-to. I will always play with Minnesota, Randy Moss, and Chris Carter. But Chris Carter has shown himself to be pretty coonish over the years when he was heavy into sports as a commentator. But this last one was egregious. I caught the thing he said about Shador. Basically saying Shador Sanders wasn't being colluded against by the NFL owners, which he admitted that they were, because then he turned right around and said, but the NFL humbled him and he needed it. They humbled him because they colluded against him. They tried to humble him. But then you got to ask yourself, Mr. Carter, why? Why Chris Carter? Why should they have humbled him? What did this young man do? See, I live by the famous words of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey said, with confidence, you've already won before you started. And without confidence, you've lost before you've even begun. So if that statement is one of his greatest statements ever made, then why did that man needs to be humbled? If he's good enough to be at what the level that he's in, he's supposed to have a level of confidence. I didn't hear cocky in that. Floyd Mayweather is cocky, and I don't have a problem with him being cocky because the man is undefeated. If you're undefeated, if you don't like his cockiness, knock him out. Because if you can't knock him out, ain't shit you can do about it. That's your issue, not his. Do you get what I'm saying? But I just think that Chris Carter, the thing that he said was so egregious to me because you're helping tear down another black man. One thing I don't understand about guys, and this is why guys like you get called to the carpet all the time, Mr. Carter, is because y'all always feel the need to come out and say something against black society. But at the very same time, you never feel the need to come out and support it. You notice that whenever something happens to black people, you'll get a Shaka say something, Charles Barkley have something to say, Stephen A. Smith is the king of talking shit about Negroes. But soon as some injustices are happening to us, they're quiet. They don't touch that. And so if you want people to pay attention to Mr. Carter, if you want people to think that you really do see this world as a real black man, then I'm gonna need you to be on both sides. Cause to be honest with you, I wouldn't have an issue with people like you having slick shit to say about black people if your commentary was equal and across the board. Meaning, if the moment was something good for black people, and I've heard, hey, they quoting Chris Carter said such about this and that. You ain't nothing to say. Chris Carter, what was you at when Kaepernick was getting dogged? Did the NFL, did he need to be humbled as well? Because what doesn't make sense is this, the shit that you said. None of this makes sense. And I keep saying it to people over and over and over again. None of that makes sense, but they want to keep talking about it. But I digress. I'm not going to sit here and beat my head over the head with Chris Carter. Chris Carter, just know we on your neck now, brother, and I'm glad that they are. Stay on that brother's neck. Other thing, other news I want to talk about. To my white brothers and sisters out here, that your birth rates are crumbling out here. I see, and I only brought that up because Elon Musk came out recently. I was on Twitter earlier. I told you I was on Twitter. Elon Musk put up a post basically saying if we're in a crisis white society, that your birth rates are zero. When they say birth rate is zero, it means you're dying faster than you're being born. And he's saying y'all in a crisis level, which I agree. If you're dying faster than you're being born, you're definitely in a crisis. But I would just say to Mr. Musk, you're also the same person pushing for people to go back into the office and away from home. Brother, I looked up the statistics today, and the average cost for daycare for a child right now in America is $26,000 a year. Now, I'm from a black society. My culture doesn't even average $50,000 to $60,000 a year in income. So you want us to go back into the workforce, but also give up half our income for those people. That's what you're asking, essentially what you're asking white people to do. You're asking for them because, like, for my culture, we're a little different. We're not dying faster. We're being born, but I digress. But to you, Mr. X, Mr. Elon, that is the most asinine and backwards thing in the world to ask your people to do. See, this is one thing I'm telling you, this is going to come to a head in this world, y'all. They're trying to get it on both ends. They're complaining on one side about what's going on, but then piling on to the problem on the other side. This is not going to end well. How do you expect people to go back into the workforce, give up half of their income, and they at a zero birth rate? I don't blame women at your point in your culture. If y'all killing us economically like that, these women are saying, I'm tired. I don't have no money to go out here to keep having these babies. Y'all want us to have these babies, lower the fucking cost of living in this country. I digress, man. But anyway, I did want to touch that. What else did I want to talk about? Because it's going to be a short show today, guys. I'm not even going to run any videos today. And the reason being is because, again, I have a short day. Haven't hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, especially if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, definitely catch us on 300radio.com. I'm going to keep saying that to you guys. Listen and follow suit. Okay? What else did I want to discuss today? I had a couple of things that I did, and I pulled a couple of things. So, before I get into that, let me say this, because I was pulling up the stuff while I'm talking to you guys. And, as a matter of fact, let me show you what I'm looking at. Casanat, I wanted to discuss this young man. And not what's on the screen. I saw this on Hollywood Unlocked, but not that. I don't want to discuss what's on the screen about Casanat, but I did want to say this. He sparked something in me last night. I saw this last night. I saw something last night that it didn't sit well with me. Guys, can I tell you nothing is by accident in this world? Especially with this entertainment world. When you turn on your TV, just know that nothing's up there by accident. I heard a film producer say this one time. He said that what he learned in day one in film school is that every person, everything, every inch of what you see on a television screen is on purpose. So if you're watching a movie and in that movie they have the scene set up a certain way, if a clock is on a counter a certain way, all that is on purpose. So just know nothing is getting on the screen by accident. So if you see something and something's up here, something seems like a coincidence, it's not a coincidence, it's planned. And I brought up Casanat for very much reason. Because what are the odds that the number one streamer in the world from Twitch and the number one guy in the homosexual music community, talking of Lil Nas X, know of each other from back in the day? And fair use, everyone. I'm not playing anything fair use. I just want to use this for my commentary about it. That's Lil Nas X on the back, and that's Casanat up front in 2014. That is 11 years ago. What is the odds that these two men either ran together or know each other and they both made it to this level? That shit does not happen. It is statistically impossible for all of these coincidences to happen. I remember, and it sparked me to start thinking about other things. I remember when Dave Chappelle made a reference to one time that he was in a room years and years and years before we knew who Barack Obama was. Guess who else was in the room? Kamala Harris was in the room with him at the same time. He said both of them were being prioritized in this room, if I remember correctly, but he got to meet them both, and they said both of these people are going to be somebody in the future. That tells me these people were placed there. You want to know another reason why I know that the politicians especially are placed in place? They're placed in their positions that they put in front of us? Because you ever notice when whatever they sell us on that person as being, they never be that after they leave office. What do I mean when I say that? Barack Obama was an alderman in the south side of Chicago, and he was out there basically loving on black people, and he was out there just doing the work on the grassroots. Barack Obama gets into the office, and he proceeds to do nothing for those very people that he said he moved to the community to help and support. He actively, literally did nothing to support our community. But that is the platform that he ran on. That is the way he said he loved on us. That's exactly what he said. But then he gets in the office, does nothing. Great, get it. Everybody says he couldn't do it. The big bad Republicans stopped him every time. He just wasn't man enough to do it. Side note, I don't know how Trump get anything done, Because every time he wants to get something done, doesn't matter if he has all the other houses and the Congress and everything else, he always gets it done, no matter who's in there, Democrat or Republican. Barack Obama's just a little bit different. I don't know what it is. It's just the world hates him so much. And if they hate him so much, that lets you know you live in a very racist place. So miss me when you say it ain't racist. So when Barack Obama's there, he's sitting in front of you, but then he gets out of office. Most people, when he got out of office, he has celebrity now. He has a name that he didn't have when he was originally in the South Side of Chicago. So wouldn't you think that he would get right back into doing what he was doing before? No, he does none of that. Now the brother's never even seen with another black person. Hell, the nigga's never even seen with his wife at this point. So we're going to have to safely assume that this man was planted, bought, and paid for. Because he got black folks to come out in mass numbers to support him, and he just didn't do his job. So we know that he's not about the people. Kamala Harris, same thing. They wanted to tell black people solely and 100% of the time that this woman, she loves us because she's a black woman too. I don't know if any of you guys got to see Candace Owens' expose on her upbringing. But Candace Owens, which I'm not a fan of, but the woman can be brilliant at times, but I'm huge not a fan of this lady because she misrepresents black culture in America all the time. But when she did this expose on Kamala Harris, she did such an amazing job that a lot of us didn't even see in the culture. To where at the end of it all, that same woman, Kamala Harris, had to come out in interviews and basically change her story. She went from being a black woman with black family members to, okay, I have black family and then I have black people around me that's like black family, that they're just like my No, she's lying. And basically she got caught up with that lie. See, I'm going to tell you this, I say this all the time. A truth does not need a lie to support it. A lie needs another lie to support it. You know what I'm saying? So and it keeps happening. And the reason why I say this about the Kai Cenat thing, this is not to denigrate them. This is not about Lil Nas X or Kai Cenat. This is saying, how does these people keep getting to the same position and we think it's organic when it's not? Every person that you see on TV that white people are paying for is bought and paid for. I need you to understand that. That's my point for that. I need for you to understand that none of this is by accident. You are no longer in the 90s anymore, black people. You are not going to get organic people in that business who are going to love on you or try to do stuff for you. As much as they've talked bad about Mr. Cosby, I know that I read somewhere one time about the Cosby Show that he put, I think it was a psychologist and a sociologist and a whole bunch of different smart people on his set of the Cosby Show. They had to read over every script to double check to make sure we wasn't doing anything to denigrate black society. That man has a jumpsuit and a record now. I always seem to notice that every person that, whether in history or current day, that is supporting the culture, all of a sudden ends up with a record, always ends up not being supported. That's not by coincidence or by accident, if you ask me. This is all I'm saying to that. And when I saw that, I instantly thought to myself, they just really not playing with us. When it comes to, they're not playing. But anyways, give me a second. I want to take a quick break. I want to check the levels. I never even did this to make sure everything's working, and I'm going to be right back. Give me 2 seconds, guys.
Let's get into it.
Keep us locked on your radio dial.
Keep it locked.
What's up, y'all? This is Beyonce, and you listening to my station.
This is 300 Radio.
All right, and sorry about that, guys. I actually just had to send a text message real quick. But anyways, a couple of more topics. I promise you. Then I'm gonna give you a break, and then I may come back. Matter of fact, I may run a video because I got to do something in a second. But I got a lot more that I probably want to say. So hopefully I'll be able to do it. But I'm waiting on a response. While I got you though, side note, let me put something else on the screen that makes absolutely no sense. This is when you know that people are just fucking with us now, y'all. And I'm talking about all Americans at this point. You see this on the screen? Nike is releasing its very first pair of dirty Air Force Ones. And they even putting a toothbrush in the container with it. This right now, look, I know we all see white men walking around with dirty shoes and like they dress down, I think, to diminish how much money they really truly have. Where when black folks, we always dress up to prove that we ain't broke. So I know the game. But this shoe that you're trying to sell us, this ain't gonna work. Ain't nobody's buying these dirty ass shoes. I get it. You wanted to be creative and new and tricky with your advertisement, but this is gonna fall flat, people. There's no way possible that the coach is gonna buy this. Now, I don't know what anybody else's coach is gonna do, but mine are not rocking these. See, one thing I'm gonna tell you about men and the way that we dress. Let me say it this way. Men would not at all give a damn how we look. I would wear dirty sweatpants and a holy t-shirt for the rest of my life if ladies want around. Men get dressed because they want to be attractive to women. Women get dressed because they want to be attractive to women too. I'm joking, ladies. I'm joking. Because y'all will wear shit that y'all don't give a fuck what we think. But with men, we get dressed and for the ladies. We do that. And since we are getting dressed for the women, I'm going to pretty much tell you, don't no woman want to see your ugly shoes. They look at your shoes first, fellas. Women look at your shoes first. Then for some reason, I think they look at your pants after that. Then they look in your mouth. They look out. They always do these certain things. They look at specific things when it comes to you. Brothers, I'm telling you, this ain't going to work. So if you are one of them stupid people that follows every trend, don't follow this one. That's all I'm saying with that. Please don't follow this one. But really quick, guys, I'm going to run a commercial break. And I'm going to run some videos real quick. That way I can go ahead and jump into what I'm doing. And then I'm going to come back. Okay, guys? But give me a second. We'll come out. We're going to close out the show. So, all right, give me 2 seconds.
the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
Hey guys, we're back. And like I say, sorry for cutting the video short, guys, but I am very much pushed for time today. And I want to make sure that I get as much of this in with you guys as possible. Like I said, I don't have much of importance to talk about today because it wasn't supposed to be a shoot day. But I fell in love with you guys, y'all. I done fell in love with the process. I done fell in love with disseminating the information that I think is important to this world. And we're just scratching the surface, people. It really is. One thing I learned through my analytics recently is that I have a female base and a male base, and they like two different totally things. To the sisters base, I have been neglecting y'all, and I want to make sure that I don't do that moving forward. We're going to have way more conversations based upon relationships, things about that, things that ladies want to hear from a male's point of view. I want to be able to provide that for you. So I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to start providing more context from a male's point of view. And I'm going to tell you, a pretty thorough brother at that. I pretty much have a good understanding, I think, of what women not only want, need, but deficiencies that they may be having when it comes to meeting males, in my opinion, for lack of a better term. But before I get there, like I said, today I'm just covering something. I'm literally just talking to you guys so y'all can see my face. But I do want to cover this. Let me say this. When keeping it real goes wrong, this is the face that should be in the dictionary. It's Fat Joe. Fat Joe, you have had a year of shit that you probably didn't expect to happen, didn't you not? But it's your own fault. I'm going to tell you. One thing I am so proud of right now, and if you've been living under a rock, let me give you full context of why I'm picking at Mr. Fat Joe right here. Fat Joe last year, or even maybe about 2 years ago, that decided he was going to come out and basically lie about who is the creators of hip hop just so he can infuse his Puerto Rican culture into it. Now, let me say this. I'm not denigrating Puerto Ricans or Puerto Ricans contributing to the hip hop culture. They have contributed a lot. Big Pun is a really big person people remember and love on. I don't really give a fuck about Fat Joe, but I know that they have definitely contributed. But contributing and starting is two different things, and basically a lot of people just wanted him to get that correct and move on. And I'm gonna tell you, Fat Joe, the easiest out you could have did was that when someone questioned you, yo, who started hip hop? Yo, that was Black Americans, man. I'm just happy that they allowed me to be in, contributed to it, and other Latinos like myself, but let's just be honest, they started this great thing that I've been eating off of for years. My family eats off of for years. That right there, we would have said, thank you, brother, moved on. Your records would have probably kept selling. But brother, I think he dropped an album late last year or early this year, and that shit went wood. Forget platinum and gold. Your shit went wood. You went wood because you came at the group. You came at our culture, and our culture is starting to stand on business, and I'm loving it. So you're keeping it real. You did that, and then he went further, y'all. If you were living on the rock, because I covered this a couple of months ago. Then he goes on a podcast, Math Hoffa's podcast. Side note, his podcast is crashed now too, and I'm happy for it. Because everybody who basically will allow others to denigrate my culture, I ain't got no respect for it, and whatever happens, happens. Matt Hoffa let them people come on his platform. This man right here, Fat Joe, come on his platform and denigrate black society using cuss words at that. And you didn't say anything to stop it. So your platform failed. Hey, it is what it is. I don't really stress. But Fat Joe, you are now out here being accused of being a pedophile by your former hype man. Now, I don't know if these allegations are true or not, but I will definitely tell you, you're having a really bad run, aren't you? What I want people to understand in my culture is that the reason why things like this are happening to people who are coming at our culture is because we are now understanding the importance, the greatness that is us. And we're starting to stand on business. We're getting a code together, whether we even realize it or not. And people are starting to fall. You're going to see even more and more people falling. I'm starting to see in other arenas where people normally have been quiet, they're speaking up now. Why? Because you're starting to realize this is nothing more than Oz. And the Wizard of Oz it literally is some little weak motherfucker behind the curtain with a big voice trying to scare us. There's nothing to be afraid of. Something I learned at a very early age, and I'll tell you a quick story, and then I'll get out of here off this subject. When I was younger, I learned a very quick lesson. I was very fearful when I was younger, and I had a really, really big lesson that I learned early. There was nothing to be afraid of. I'll give you an example. And it's something that has resonated with me my entire life, and I want to share it with you guys. My father, I was raised in a very religious household. And one of the things that my father wanted me to do was to basically to teach or preach at church. And so at a very young age, I'm maybe 12. My first time I had to get up there and speak. Now, I am terrified. My father wrote out my little speech, but I'm terrified. I don't want to get up there. The night before, I can't sleep. I am stressed out. I thought about running away from home. The whole nine, just so I don't have to give like a 5-minute talk. But, and I did everything. I lied. I told him I was sick, everything else. My father, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, you still doing it. So, and I hated him I did not want to do this. But I'm going to tell you what happened about being forced to do something and getting up there and facing the fear. Because all it was fear. I didn't want to get up there. So I got up there, I did my little 5 minutes, and I'm going to be honest with you, the hardest part of doing that was actually the anticipation of it. Once I got on that stage, I realized there was nothing to be afraid of. Just recite what you know. And so ever since that moment, that's exactly what I do. If I'm fearful of something, I study it. I lean into it. I try to learn as much as I can about it. And then even if it's still scary, I say, let's go do it. Because one thing I found out to be true is that the fear that you feel in your head is way worse than the actual fear itself. Because that talk wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And it scared the shit out of me. But it wasn't that bad. And then to this day, I contribute that aspect to the reason why I was able to do stand-up comedy. The reason why I'm even standing here in front of you guys today was solely off I conquered that fear at like 12 years old. So I don't even know why I'm telling you that right now. I really don't. I forgot my whole reason of why I was telling you that. You got to ride with me. I talk a lot. But I think the reason why I was saying it was that the culture is we're fearful. That's what it is. We're very fearful of the outcomes of what's going to happen. And we do it every day. You're fearful to speak up at your job in the fear of being fired. But I would just ask you, don't you always get fired anyway? As a black person, don't you always get laid off? Don't you always be the first to get fired? And I know if you're anything like me, you've been fired from jobs, from stuff that you didn't even do wrong. Someone else was doing wrong to you, and you spoke up for yourself or against that person and you had evidence, and they still would get rid of you. I've had this happen multiple times. It lets you know that no one cares about right and wrong. They just want to make sure you stay at the bottom. And I think with us as a culture right now, that is the game and the hype that has been ran on us. And now we are learning that's all that it is. See, I'm threatening to people. I know I am, because I'm not intimidated. When I walk into a room with other men, I'm not intimidated. When I walk into a room with white men with power and means, I'm not intimidated. You put your pants on just like I do. And half the time, I'm more intelligent than you are anyway. You just have a system that supports you and backs you and puts you in a position to make more money than me, more power than me. But you know, like I know, if you catch me and you together behind closed doors, I'm going to smash you every time. You want to know why? Because I do the work. And that's one thing I'm learning about our culture. We are doing the work and our confidence is growing, and it's scaring the shit out of everybody. If you notice that every aspect of life is changing now in America. Black folks here in America are understanding that their lineage goes back to this soil, not to Africa per se. We'll get into that another time. And what has America done since we've started to realize this? They're telling you more and more every day that you're African. Remember the time that they would just tell you they hated Africa, they hate Africa, I hate Africa, I hate Africa. They would always talk like that. And now that we are delineating ourselves and becoming just our own ethnic group here in America, no, you're African. Go be an African, please be an African. Don't be an American. Remember back in the day they told you, just be American. Why do you have to be African? Remember on your job, if you tried to wear a dashiki or a kufi or anything that represented anything that looked African, they would denigrate that and kick you out. Well, now, since we're saying, no, we are the true Americans, the real Americans. What are they saying? Oh, no, you're African. Wear your dashikis to work. We love that. Why? Because the whole game is just to play games and trickeries with you. It's just to trick you at all times. When I promise you, at the end of the day, none of this is real. None of it. None of it's real. You're not less than any of these people. You're maybe even a little bit more. And And let me say something real quick, because I'm going to catch a lot of heat from this. But I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get out of here. I told I'm going to have to shorten the show today. But, family, I want to say this. I've been doing my history lately on the genealogy of my culture. That's one. And then I've been doing a lot of history on the slave trade, learning about that, what America looked like beforehand. And for the people who live in Iraq right now, they lied to us about a lot of different things. I would just say it in life general. And matter of fact, I'm going to hold that conversation because I'm rushing. I don't want to rush through that. So let me just say it this way. Just know that they are lying about damn near everything that we learn in this world. This is a Christian nation. And I'm going to tell you the whole thing about the slave trade, everything. I'm probably going to do it on tomorrow's show. So come back for that one. I promise you I'm going to drop some really heavy information. But the reason why I say they lied to us about everything is because they do. If you think about it, I just use my common sense. When you just use your common sense for a lot of stuff, you start realizing the majority of the stuff that we learn ain't real. If we all came from one man and one woman named Adam and Eve, then how do we get so many different blood types? Because one thing I know about blood types is one blood type gets to another blood type, they can only produce, I think, either themselves or a mixture one together. But you can't produce all of them. Two people can't produce all the other blood types. So something's wrong here. Something's a hole in the story that you've been told. Now, you would probably ask me, well, El, why is that important? Well, if something as minute as you came from one man, one woman, and if people regurgitate that lie, then what else did you lie about is the reason why I said that. Now, yes, everything that I've learned and everything I've been able to debunk, does it affect my life on a day-to-day? No. But I'm telling you, anything that you learn to not be real will help you in the future. Like for me, I no longer fall victim to the Adam and Eve story solely off of the basis of the fact, just that one fact. And I have other reasons that I can give you. I can give you other proofs on why I don't believe it to be real. But just that one alone, can anyone who loves religion when it comes to it, not God, but religion, anyone who loves religion, can you tell me why there's so many different blood types if we come from one man, one woman? See, I just learned in this world they will lie about everything. And so what I want people to do, I want you to question other stuff. I was talking to a sister I know very, very well the other day. And I was telling her, you got to think more about everything. Don't take anything on face value. I told her, like even with time, they told us with time, we count in seconds. Why are we counting seconds and not first? Now, I know you're going to say, I never thought of that. I didn't either until I thought about it. So I'm just saying, that's the one thing that I think Black America is doing right now. I think, and a lot of us are doing right now, is we're using our common sense. And since we're using our common sense, they're constantly moving the goalposts now. And I kind of jumping all over the place because I am rushing. But the reason why I know that they realize that we're catching hold of the story here in America is bullshit, it's because they are moving the goalposts. I watch a show called Yellowstone. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's about a ranch in Montana. And the show did so well on Paramount that they end up giving the creator like spinoff shows. But they did a lot of prequels. So they started in the 1800s and now they're moving through the 1900s and they're moving forward. But one thing I noticed in this show they're doing a lot of is that they're talking a lot about Indian territory. And from what I was raised growing up believing was raised taught, and they taught us in school was that Indian territory was very minute because they always removed them off their land. There wasn't a lot left. But every time I turn around, there's an Indian reservation. There's another Indian reservation. There's another Indian reservation. They have thousands and thousands of acres of land. Side note, did you know that this whole destitute, beat down, broke down Native American plantations that they basically say that they ain't really what they doing? I was watching somebody has a vlog that they do. I was watching it the other day and he did a piece on the Cherokee Nations in North Carolina. These people are getting paid thousands of dollars. I think they get a big lump sum check when they turn 18. They get money every month from the United States government. They get land allotment set aside. They get all casinos. They get all kinds of things. And so now ask yourself this question, Black people. How is it that they were the people that they say were on the land? They say they were separate from you. They were you, but we're going to get there tomorrow. But just to say that for the context of the conversation, we're going to take everything on face value. These red people are the people who originally were on this planet. The white people with black hair, because that's what they look like now. Just say that they were the ones that were here on this soil. You beat them down so bad that you killed millions of them, and as your consolation prizes, we're sorry, here's your land, here's some government money, we did you wrong. Makes sense. So why the fuck don't black people get that? Why is black people out here struggling to get a $1,200 stimulus check during COVID? Why are we struggling to get that when these people are getting stuff set aside every day? And don't give me that shit, it ain't that many of them. Because 43 million black people versus that's 12% of the population. You trying to tell me you can't repair 12% of the population when you giving out billions and trillions of dollars to other nations every year? Get the fuck out of here. You're doing it on purpose. You want my culture to suffer. But then I have to ask, why do you want my culture to suffer? You want my culture to suffer for a very, very reason. I'm not going to dive into it today. You're going to have to come back for tomorrow's episode because that's what we're going to cover. Family, the myth of what we were and what we come from, we're going to debunk the shit out of that tomorrow, people. And you need to be around for that show because we're going to do it. But I digress. I'm not going to hold anybody up. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to put that down in the tank. I had a lot more that I wanted to cover, but just know I did cover a few things that I did. Tomorrow, we're going to pick up from there, and we're going to do a lot longer. I'm going to make up for today, I promise. But if you're still hanging in with me right now, definitely go to the YouTube channel, click 300 Radio and the number 1, all one word. It'll pull up the channel, hit the subscribe button, and I'll check you guys on the next one. Now, with that one being said, I'm your man, L.Scott. You see the name on the screen. Follow me on social media as well, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
Whoa. Before you leave this podcast and go somewhere else, did you hit the notification bell? Because if you didn't, please do so now.